welcome to Tuesday Drive. It's interesting. Yesterday at this time, I was actually, I could barely see on this road because the sun this time of year is sitting at this time of the morning exactly right on the road. And what a difference a day makes, right? I mean, it's raining today, and we need the moisture, so who can complain about that? It certainly changes the landscape, that's for sure. I mean, everything is kind of hazed out, and which I really like that a lot, actually. So I'm capturing images in my mind as we drive along here, which this drive is. If I had to drive an hour, I couldn't ask for a better commute because the scenery. Number one, it's always in transition, and number two, it's just can be quite breathtaking, no matter what time of year it is. So today I want to talk about confidence, and this is an interesting topic. And you know, last week on Sunday, just a couple days ago, I really felt like I had. For me, one of my more successful paintings in a while, and the key to that painting, number one, and this is something that rings true no matter what, is I was just completely inspired by the scene that I saw. And inspiration, if it doesn't exist, it's a hard road. And I mean, I've learned this over time. And here's this is kind of crazy, but you learn this lesson about not painting something that you're not inspired by, because it just won't work out. And I don't know if that's true for you, but that certainly rings true for me. Oh, wait a second. I think I'm supposed to be talking about confidence. How did I get on inspiration? Oh well, it doesn't matter. So inspiration is a completely different topic, and I just want to talk about that painting for a minute. So I brought that up, but really today I want to talk about confidence. And I think it's superpositional cognition made a comment and asked me a question that I actually in turn went to my buddy Richard and asked him the same question, because I was curious what he would say, because when you think about but it made me think about confidence. And the question had to do with what is it that you're working on, or what do you think will get you to the next plateau? These are really good thoughts. I mean, pondering and processing those kind of thoughts are like really, really good for me. And because I had to really think about it, like what is it that I'm focusing on, and what does the next plateau look like, and how do I get there? There are a couple things that I do that I think are tools that I use. Excuse me. I remember when I first started to paint plein air. I am in my 6th year as a plein air painter and an oil painter, because I did both. I started both at the same time. And the thing that I've probably learned the most is that everybody starts at the same place, and you have to work at getting better. You can't just say you want to be better. You can't just read about painting and the technical aspects of painting and color mixing and all of that stuff. You can't just read about it and get better. You can't talk to other people and expect that to translate into your work and then get better. honestly, the only way to get better is you have to be moving paint around the canvas. And this is the I mean, in the beginning, you know, I was really kind of scratching my head at the whole thing, because I felt like, because, you know, I could draw and had been drawing perspective since I was a kid, and you know, took commercial art in college, and I mean, I had all these different things that should have set me up for success, and maybe to some degree they translated into a faster journey to where I am today. I don't know. I can't really say that, but my you know, my favorite saying of from Ben Hogan, who, as I'm sure all of you know, is a famous golfer. They would ask Ben Hogan, you know, what is your secret? And I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but Ben Hogan said, they would say, how did you get to where you are? And he would say, I dug it out of the dirt. And he meant literally, he dug it out of the dirt. And there's a story where he had like these dozen golf balls, and he would go out to this particular place back behind the driving range, and he would practice shots, and they someone said that he actually wore the dimples off of those golf balls, practicing those shots. And you know what we said about art supplies the other day, being expensive and all of that, and you think about your brushes and things and how protective you might be of those, and I relate that to Ben Hogan wearing the dimples off of the 12 golf balls that he had. And you know, how many brushes have you gone through lately? And it's no different for me. I mean, you have to squeeze paint out of the tube, you have to put it on a brush, and you have to move it around the canvas. There just isn't any other way. And so, but there are some specific methods you can use to help you build that confidence. Now I'm going to speak for me, just myself, and for if some of it applies to you, that's awesome, and I hope that it does. But there are a few things that I did that I believe helped with my confidence as a painter. And one of those, which as I mentioned last week, I intend to get back to here really soon, was I did 30-minute sketches, and those are little 5x7 paintings that I did. I did a lot of them, and so I would intentionally put myself on the clock with those paintings, and I was very strict about you know, setting my watch for 30 minutes, and then I would start to paint, and when the clock ran out, I would stop. And at first, you know, I was really having a hard time getting through a little 5x7 in 30 minutes, and it sounds completely crazy, but in the beginning, you spend a lot of time thinking and processing, and that's, you know, that's okay, that's necessary. But my issue was I was thinking and processing when I was trying to paint, when I should have been thinking and processing when I was at home practicing, like mixing colors. You know, I wasn't doing a lot of discovery things and mixing a lot of colors and things at home. I was actually at home in the studio. I was actually doing all of that practice while I was putting myself on the clock, which sounds crazy, right? I mean, like, why would I? Of course it's going to be difficult. Why wouldn't it be? Because I'm trying to engage my left and right brain at the same time to the same degree, and as you know, that just doesn't work. So So the deal is, once I started to take note of where I was being challenged with color mixes while I was actually standing in the field at the easel painting, and I started to work on those color mixes at home. And it can be something simple, like the work I do with distant tree lines, which, you know, you probably know by now. I love painting distant tree lines. And but that's only because in the beginning they were really hard for me, and I was having such a difficult time with value, temperature, chroma. I mean, all these things were really challenging me. But until I actually physically worked on them at home in the studio, I really wasn't able to set that aside and get to where I wanted to be with painting a lot faster. Anyway, I say that to say that confidence comes by practicing the things that you have the most trouble with. You know, I've been working on trees. I've been intentional about that, and when I'm practicing, that's what I'm currently doing. I'm working on trees. At the same time, I'm really focusing on edges, because I think edges are the key to the next plateau for me. And so superpositional cognition, thank you for that, for spurring that on and making me think about that, because all right, the next thing is, in order to gain confidence, is you have to be like really super honest with yourself. And being honest with yourself means that, you know, sometimes your family and your friends are going to tell you at an intersection here, your family and friends are gonna tell you that they like everything you do, and you know, that's because they're your family, right? I mean, so that's perfectly normal, and it should be that way, probably. But so, since that's your audience in the beginning, typically, you have to take on the responsibility of being honest with yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to say, this painting sucks and I'm terrible and blah blah blah. All I'm saying is that you have to be truthful with yourself about where your difficulties are. And I mean, I have no problem with this now. In the beginning, maybe I wanted to believe that I was better than I really was. I'm going to show you my first plein air painting right here, and take a look at this. And this is only to encourage you, and if you're beginning, and just encourage you to say that this is where I started. Obviously, you know where I am today, and anyway, I just wanted to show it to you just so you can see it. I don't know if I've ever shown it here or not, but anyway, you have to think about every little aspect of what it is that you're doing, and narrow it down to the thing that's causing you the most trouble, and then work on that thing over and over and over. And I guarantee you, your confidence will build so fast. Like Kevin McPherson said in one of the books I have of his, he said, you know, get a bunch of I don't know what his little paintings are, like 6x8. Get a bunch of 6x8s and do 100 starts. I mean, that sounds crazy, right? I mean, who's going to take 100 panels and do do just 100 starts. And I think that is like such sound advice for confidence building, because as you probably know, and as I certainly know by now, the painting can go south. It can go good in a hurry, and it can go south in a hurry if you don't get a good start. If I look back over my all of my 30-minute sketches that I've done, I did sort of do 100 starts, because I did a lot of those, and I would consider most of those just good starts. And my confidence in starting really built. A couple ducks in the road. There we go. All right. So confidence breeds confidence, and I'm really serious about this. The reason that I say that is because when you pick the thing that you need to focus on in order to be more confident at your painting, whether it's starting or whether it's color mixing or whether it's working in linear perspective or whatever it is, when you go through that first process of really hammering that thing out and getting it nailed down so that you're not thinking and processing it so much, what I've noticed for me is that then when I picked the next thing that I needed to work on, when I was honest with myself and said, hey, you need to focus on this, these grays need to improve, whatever it might be for you, you've learned the process of working through it. So the next time you pick something, you actually are able to work through it a little easier than the first time. And so that confidence you built on the first one builds and helps you actually deal with the second one a lot easier than the first one. And then so you can just imagine, as you move along, that's why your growth rate tends to accelerate, because you're actually learning how to gain confidence. And it's not magic. Confidence doesn't just happen. It is something that you are intentional about, and something that you work on. Okay, so that's my Tuesday drive for today. So think about these things. Let me know. Let me know what you're working on. How you work on building confidence in your own painting, and how you tackle those issues that you struggle with. And because as a community here, we all journey together, and that's my whole philosophy, is that we're all on this journey together, and we learn. Wednesday is all about that, and we elevate each other, and that's a good thing. So thank you for checking out Tuesday Drive, and I'll catch you later.